Okay, hi everyone. It's Rita Denoyer Garcia of Becoming Awake and the Calm Mom Alliance Facebook group, and I wanted to introduce you to my friend Kim. Um, Kim asked two questions which I thought were very provocative. Are you living more like co-parenting roommates than soulmates? Oh my gosh, what a great question. And are you longing for the days when a simple act like bringing flowers made your heart flutter? I totally resonate with these questions. I'm dying to know what she's going to say about this because I think, moms, this is really important for you as you're going along your busy day. Are you disconnected more than you were with your spouse? So Kim is here. She's a relationship mentor. She's dedicated to helping women transform their mundane marriages into passionate, fun-filled unions. I'm totally into the fun part. She specializes in reigniting that spark that once made every moment feel magical, turning everyday interactions into opportunities for romance and connection. Yahoo! And with a background in lecturing in Latin American history and Spanish, Kim also offers a unique insight for women in cross-cultural relationships or those using Spanish to connect more deeply with family and community. Welcome.
Thank you.
I'm so excited that you're here.
Happy to be here, Rita. I had such a good time chatting with you the last time we chatted. So thank you.
Of course, of course. So tell me more, first of all, like, how did you get into this? How did this become something that you were interested in?
You see how you ended with that last bit about the helping ladies in cross-cultural relationships? Well, it wasn't quite like that. It was more that I also do Spanish language acquisition, but my coaching is very cultural based. So it's not just about the language, it's about understanding the culture, how the words are used. And what I found was that I got a lot of ladies who were in relationships with partners from Spanish speaking backgrounds. And they wanted to know, well, we have language barriers, we have culture barriers, and you know, that's why I want to learn the language. But as we would go along, I'd realize these are not language barriers, these are not cultural barriers. It doesn't matter how many Spanish words you learn. Some of these things are still going to be issues because it's male female issues, it's marriage issues, it's the things that take away the spark issues.
Mm.
And around that same time, when I was working with my coach, and we started talking about relationships and lessons that I was going through with my clients. And he's like, you do realize you've been relationship coaching for the last year? I'm like, no, I haven't been. He's like, yes, you have been. So it was a little bit of a pivot. I still do the language work, but we started looking at relationships more. And that's how that got started. Um,
That's fascinating to me because so many women, I think in general, the things that come easy to them that they naturally do, they don't even see. And then they think doesn't everyone do this? I'm not doing that.
yes.
Right? Until someone says, actually, what you're doing is this. And it's like really cool because a lot of people can't do that.
Right.
I just wanted
And
to point that out because I see that a lot.
but it's true, it's true, it's true. And I mean, my husband and I, we've been together for 24 years now, almost 25 actually. And most of our friends don't know us separately. So we've kind of been that go-to couple for like, well, what do you think about this? And, do you have any advice about that? And again, same thing as you said, Rita, we just took it for granted. It's like, but everybody does this. Everybody should know this. Come on, people. This is common sense. And it's like, no, no, it's not.
Common to you. Yeah.
This is it. This is
Common
it.
to you, but not to everyone. So tell me more. Could you give me an example of like the type of person, the type of woman that comes to you, what comes up and how you help her?
Right. So she tends to be she loves her husband. Let's not beat around the bush, right? She does love him. She wants to be with him. She wants the family that they have, whether it's a blended family or a family that is for them, both of them is their only kids. But it's just not working. She's angry all of the time. When she's not angry, she's tired.
Mm.
she wants to fix things, and but every time she tries to fix things, he gets offensive, he gets offended, and then defensive, I should say. All right. And they're stuck in this cycle where she feels like she can't ever say the right thing. She does not feel loved. She does not feel cherished. She feels she wants to go back to those days where when he looked at her, she felt like she was the only woman in the room. And she just doesn't know how to get back to that.
Yeah.
And couples counseling, well, she's tried to talk to him about going, and he's just like, nothing's wrong. And he just absolutely refuses to go. Those are the ladies that I talk to.
Yeah, I totally get that. I totally get that. I remember not that long ago being in the car with my husband and saying, just so you know, when I ask you a question, in fact, 80% of what I do is just trying to connect with you. That's it. And then he said, okay, so what's the other 20%? And I said, trying to connect with you. It's like, it's all about connection. And he's like, okay. It took
Yes.
us a while to even get to the place where I felt like I could even say that
Yeah.
without him going, "Ugh, whatever, what is she doing?" And I didn't know what I was doing. I was like, I'm just asking a question, and we would
Yeah.
get into that cycle. And I had to do a lot of work just to be able to just be okay with whatever the reaction is, to be able to say that. And then he was able to, like when I was calm, tell me if this makes sense to you. When I was calm and kind of in my center and just speaking from my heart and truth without any trying to be defensive, without worrying about what he was going to say or do, he
Yeah.
always came through.
You're right. Yes. Yep. Perfect. Makes perfect sense because you haven't put any expectations on that conversation. You haven't determined how he should respond to it. It's more like, I'm speaking my truth.
Yeah.
Therefore, I can't be right or wrong. I mean, I can't be wrong. I shouldn't say I can't be right. I can't be wrong about it. So there's no way to get, I can't get angry if you take it the wrong way because this actually is not about you.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just saying it. Success
Yeah.
is me just saying it from a really calm place, and then the
Right.
rest is gravy.
Exactly. And something like that, that sounds so simple, but that's what we want to get to, that state of calm where we can talk. We can just talk about how we're feeling, what we would like to see without that expectation of what our partner is going to do.
Yeah.
And you hit the nail on the head, as you said, you told your husband, it's like, yeah, it's pretty much all about connection, but that is it. It's
Yeah, that's all I want.
all that really is all we want. And so much of when we get angry, when we lash out, it literally is our bid for connection, and we feel like, and it may not be a conscious choice, but it's like, I need your attention. And if it's the negative type of attention, if it's my negative behavior that's going to get your attention, then that's what I'm going to give you because I
Yeah.
just want you to see me.
Yeah. Yeah. And the mind goes like, whatever I need to do to get that. Yeah. And it's from a very young age. I mean, it's so funny. I think you and I talked about this. Like when you first meet your mate, you think, I'm not marrying my parent. I'm marrying this completely different person. The opposite. This is amazing. He totally gets me. Blah, 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 blah. And then, couple years in, 5 years in, maybe, you start to see the cracks and you start to see how they show up in a way that triggers something in you, and then you react and they react. It goes back and forth. And then you're like, how did I marry my dad? How did I marry my mom? How did I marry, you know? And you're like, how did I get here? It seemed like such a good idea at the time. Like, I don't, like, and then you're locked in this cycle.
You
So
are. But at any point in that stage too, do you ever stop and think, how have I changed? Like, how have I become my mom?
yes.
How am I?
Well, no, no, it was all, I remember going into, I'm coming from a really good place here. I'm, And especially because I was a coach, I was like, but I'm a coach. I studied psychology in college. I am a social worker, so it's not me.
I know what I'm about. I'm good. Good.
Right, exactly. So a lot of it was like, let's go to get help so that you can change.
Right?
And
Exactly.
the third person in the room can be like, Rita's got a point.
Right. And I do remember like even at one point in my life thinking, oh, maybe it could be healthy for us to go see someone because there's certain things that I think he can be doing better. And if somebody else tells him to do it, and yeah, but
Yeah.
that's never going to
It's
get the results.
yeah, it's so humbling. It's very humbling when you realize that you're half of the couple and you're 100% responsible for whatever your reactions are and all that stuff. That's super humbling.
It is.
Um, yeah,
But
it's so
following
much easier
that,
to just blame the other person or think you're the innocent party and they're whatever. And then
mhm.
you're like, oh, I didn't realize that was,
No,
yeah.
but
Like,
it's say that. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, not to get too into the weeds, and to protect my poor husband that I'm talking about him, but one of the things that he doesn't like if someone interrupts him, right? And guess who interrupts him the most? But it's always for a good reason, Kim.
Yes, of course it
And I had to learn to zip it.
Right? It's it's funny you said that. I remember having a conversation with my coach about something similar. He said, there are always those things that we know our partner does not like, but yet we still do them over and over again. And I was saying, yeah, but so is that something we need to fix? Is that something we should address? And his perspective was very interesting. He's like, well, it depends on what it is, right? I mean, obviously, if it's something that's very hurtful, then obviously you have to address it. He said, but some of the things, maybe where it's not really hurtful, it's just irritating, mildly annoying. It actually is this little battle of self, this kind of desire to like assert that I am still a person and a separate being. And in a way, like I won't be dictated to. But it's like not to get too wrapped up in that either.
Yes.
It, it because that is what our relationships are, right? You made that point about we are 100% responsible for our reactions. And that's it. We are one part, one whole half of this relationship. So how we react, how we feel, how we think, what we say, what we do dramatically impacts. Can you imagine if you had a classroom of kids and one half just absolutely refused to do any of the work at all? Like, what kind of environment does that create?
Yeah.
No, you could also have the half who are like, no, 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 no. We can do this. We are going to do this. And this is the example we're going to set. Now you might say, well, who's supposed to win in that battle? Well, I'll tell you one thing. If you're in a marriage or a long-term relationship and you're committed to each other, well, the positive example ultimately will win for the simple reason that both of you actually do want this thing to work. You just don't have the tools necessarily.
Yeah.
But it takes that one person to start, right?
Yeah.
And to start making the shift. And once they do, others will fall into place.
I 100% agree with you. I kept thinking we both have to work on this together and blah blah blah. And to tell you the truth, when I started doing my own work and I said, I got this, I'll let you know when I need your participation, he was like, whew, one less thing on my list.
Right?
Yeah. Glad you're working on that. And then he noticed. He
Yes.
noticed.
Yes. They do notice. Like you might think, oh, I'm going to be doing this forever before they even notice. No. And it's the subtle shifts. It's how you start responding to them. And when the tirade that they expect in a situation doesn't happen, it's like, who is this woman?
Right.
And how
Right.
can I keep her happy to keep her here? Because that's the woman I
Right.
want to be around.
Yeah.
And Rita, I'm always very careful to say that these kinds of conversations, they're not meant to excuse our partners and say they don't have work to do. It's just that they're not here. And we're wasting time talking about all the ways they need to change when we have a whole person here that we can address.
Yeah, be the change you want to see in the world. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that was another humbling thing for me was realizing all the little things that annoy, that were annoying to me that he would do. I realized I was doing annoying things too, and I wasn't really making any effort to stop because I had good intentions and I did them for a particular reason. And, and then I realized, but it annoys him. So then it made it easier for me to go, what if I just really watch that? And if I do it, I apologize. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt you. Go
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then he's like, oh, she cares. She's listening. Oh,
Just, yeah.
it
And
just,
apologies, it brings it all down. Exactly. And you said that word apologize. That was like my Achilles heel. Like, I saw the, how do you make those words? And my husband would have this running joke. He's like, you just don't know how to apologize. Like you just, we would have an argument, and it would just be like he would figure out what the problem was, do his bit, and just where was the apology? And it took a really long time for me to get to that point of being able to take ownership for what I did wrong.
mm,
So long. Um, but I can tell you one thing. Once I did, he appreciated it so much. It
yeah.
was amazing, It really was. I mean, he teased me too about it. He's like, "Oh, you finally learned the word. Okay, fine."
It is, yeah, I know, because, admitting you're wrong, I think that's a huge ego thing. Like, admitting you're wrong can feel like you're dying.
You're losing. You're
You're
losing something.
losing, you're weak, you're
Yeah.
vulnerable.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, you're wrong. Now what's going to happen? And I've learned over the years, even though it can hurt sometimes, my ego can bruise my ego, that actually being wrong is a whole opportunity to learn something so much bigger. Like,
It is.
show me where I'm wrong so I can learn.
This is it. This is it. And then if it's a behavioral change because you don't like how you feel being wrong, well, then is this something that you can address? Is this something that you can
Yes.
change?
Yeah.
And then go and change it because it's not going to hurt you in the end. And I'm not saying change because you want to keep them happy. I'm like, if you don't like how you feel about how you reacted in that situation, then
Yeah.
you can learn.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Yeah. So, all right, we could talk all day about this, but I wanted to close with what's one thing that you would want moms to know about how they can make their relationship better?
compliments, which sound so trivial, but they're not. Especially if you are a female in a relationship with a male, the power of those genuine compliments is incredible because it conveys such a note of not love, but it conveys such a note of respect and admiration. And that is their secret sauce. That's what they thrive on.
Yeah.
If you can drop like one, and if you get to five, well, I'm nowhere close to that. But like if you just start small, one compliment a day,
Yeah.
genuine, it will start to open doors or break down walls if that's what you're trying to do.
Yeah, I totally 100% agree with you. I've become a complimenting machine to the point where my husband's like, enough with the compliments. I'm like, but I appreciate you. Thanks, hon. You're great. You're my hero.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I could tell he kind of likes it. Like,
Exactly. It's all blushing and then,
ah,
but then like it, they're eating it up, they're eating it up.
yeah, don't we all want that? We all want like someone to appreciate us. Yeah. I love
Right?
that. That's beautiful. And that's a beautiful holiday gift, really.
For sure.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you, Kim DeSilva. Thank you so much for being here. How can people, if they want to work with you or find out more about you, what's a good way for you to connect with them?
Sure. So Facebook or Instagram. So Kim Kendall DeSilva on Facebook or Kim Ken DeSilva on Instagram. So you can come check out some of my content. Feel free to send me a message and we can chat some more.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kim. I appreciate you doing this and helping all these moms.
My pleasure.
All
Bye.
right. Thanks, guys. I will talk to you later. And if you haven't already, please join the Calm Mom Alliance Facebook group because Kim's in it and there's a lot of other practitioners and just a lot of things for moms. So please come join us and make it even a better group. All right. Take care, everybody. Bye.